And good evening. And welcome to the July 11th, 2022 East Brunswick Municipal Council Action Meeting. Will everyone please rise and salute the flag and remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll and read our statement of notification?
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Here.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Here.
Council President Wendell, absent. And Council Vice President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Criscuolo.
Here.
And Township Attorney Michael Baker.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231 Public Law 1975 by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I get a motion for Resolution 1744-9, adopting the meeting minutes from June 27, 2022?
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Councilman Ganesh. Behal? Is that Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
Any discussion or clarification? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Yes.
And Council Vice President McAvoy.
Yes. Let me move to the rostrum for a few presentations that we have in order. I guess on this level, for me personally, it doesn't get much better. It really doesn't, from the depths of my heart. When you're competing in track and field, you sort of always want the guy next to you to break his leg or step in the mud pile. But in this situation, we just always constantly rooting, and I see a couple of special guests out there, and Coach Sundberg and our retired athletic director, Frank Altenberger, the amount of time that they put in, the amount of time your parents put in, and the amount of time you put in to get to this particular point. This point being, you're done, you're getting ready to enjoy the summer, and you're ready for the university of your choice, which is Rutgers. The first presentation is for Chris Soraya. Will Chris and his family please join me up here on the podium? Please. It's a combination of getting everyone up here so that we can get some pictures and so on and so forth as historical, memorable tokens. We're recognizing Chris for his accomplishments as a track athlete on the county and state level, but maybe most importantly, for his recognition by the Star-Ledger, NJ.com, and the State Track Coaches Association as the premier New Jersey track athlete for 2022. This is quite an accomplishment. I first met Chris when he was in 8th grade. And Chris, you may recall the story because I think we chatted about this story at one of the football games when I was announcing the game and you were, cheering on your classmates who play football. And so Chris is in 8th grade. I'm clerking the 8th grade meet. And with regard to 8th grade meets, it's just a sea of kids, dozens upon dozens. If there's 5 schools, each school brings a busload full of kids. We run the hurdles first because this is where we put the hurdles on the track, and then we're able to get them off the track. And so I was clerking the 100 meters. I had finished the hurdles, and being a hurdler that I was, I look out of the corner of my eye just to see who's who and what's what and so on and so forth. And out of my corner of my eye, I see this kid who he's got it. He's like got the gift. So after the race, and I get the 100-meter kids up there, I went over to this 8th grader. He didn't know me. I introduced myself to him. And we chat briefly about the race, and I said, how come you weren't wearing your spikes? And he said to me, I don't have a pair of spikes. Oh, you don't have a pair of spikes. We're going to take care of that. So is Dad here? Yeah, Dad's right over there by the fence there. So I made a beeline over to Joe's and reached my hand over the fence and said hello to Joe. And because Joe sat in my classroom, you know, row 5 by the windowsill, maybe the first or second seat, I'm not sure. I can still see you, Joe. And so I went over to Joe and said, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. Get your son a pair of spikes, and the rest is history. Because I'm sure you got him a pair of spikes for that next meet. So let me read the proclamation. And these proclamations come out of the mayor's office. Whereas Christopher Serrao, a 2002 graduate of East Brunswick High School, joined the track team his freshman year. His coaches realized pretty quickly that he was a special athlete. Although he seemed to be good at everything he tried, hurdles seemed to be where he would excel. He quickly established himself as one of the top 9th graders in the state and finished up that spring as the number 3 freshman. And whereas Chris has earned many accolades during his high school track and field career, he competed in the 110-meter hurdles, the 400-meter hurdles, and also ran the 4x1 and 4x4 boys relay team. He has broken 10 school records, 4 county records. Chris is a 6-time sectional champ, 4-time Group 4 champ, 4-time state champ, and 4-time All-American. This spring, he won 2 state championships, the 110-meter hurdles and the 4x1 100-meter relay. Recently, and most impressive, Chris was named the New Jersey 2002 Track Athlete of the Year. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that I, Brad J. Cohn, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, and Township Council congratulate Christopher Serrao for his achievements and wish him all the best at Rutgers University, where he will continue his track career, given under my hand and the Great Seal of the Township of East Brunswick on this, the 11th day of July, in the year 2022, Mayor Brad J. Cohn.
Say thank you.
Why don't you guys, if you don't mind, stay here as we move the Is Jaden here? Come on up. Family too, come on up. Jaden's number 2 because whatever Chris couldn't run, Jaden could run. And he could run just as well as Chris. So the coaching staff was just like, this is overwhelming. We've got, we're going to win everything we compete in. I was on the phone with Athletic Director Knoppenberger today, and I was talking about how when the bus pulled up to the track meet and the East Brunswick kids got off, everybody else said, oh, damn it, they're here. Oh, yeah, we're going to get silver medals today. And that's how powerful. I'm trying to put this in layman's terms to have you understand the magnitude of their accomplishments, which are really incredible. And this is for Jaden. Whereas Jaden Phillip represented East Brunswick High School as a varsity football and track student athlete. He was EBHS top-performing sprinter since his freshman year. Of all the accolades achieved, including the U.S. National Club Champion title in the 400 meters for 13 and 14-year-old boys, Jaden prides himself on owning the school record at Churchill Junior High School, where his name is written on the Wall of Fame as the fastest athlete who ever came through the hallway here. Whereas Jaden was a consistent individual performer in each of the 7 seasons at EBHS. This past spring, Jaden won the 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400 meters at the GMC and sectional championships, and placed second in the 200 meters in the States. He sacrificed the individual 100-meter at States to run with the team on the championship-winning 4x100-meter relay. At the Penn Relays earlier in the season, Jaden anchored the boys 4x1 and quieted the crowd of Jamaican supporters as he outsprinted the Jamaican team in the international championship section of the boys 4x1 to the cheers of many Americans. Now that is powerful, what I just read you. The Jamaican kids come up to the Penn Relays. There's scores of kids. There's a dozen teams, and to accomplish what I just read to you is truly an athletic achievement. Whereas Jaden left his legacy at EBHS track and field by setting the school and county records in the 100 and the school record in the 200, 300 indoors and 500 indoors, he also anchored the record-setting boys 4x1 and 4x400 meter relay teams. That 4x1 team and that 4x4 team, the times that they finished with, rival any Division III program that I know and can compete with some Division I programs. That's how powerful those numbers are. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick and the Township Council, congratulate Jaden Phillip on his achievement and wish him the best at the University of North Carolina, where he plans to continue to excel on the track while pursuing a degree in electrical engineering. Given under my hand and the Great Seal of the Township of East Brunswick on this, the 11th day of July in 2022, the Honorable Mayor Brad J. Cohen. You get better than that. James Sparrow? James, okay. Was James a senior?
Yes.
So we only have one underclassman. Okay. You know what, I sort of went out of turn here.
I think you should keep going.
I just,
You got it. I think you should keep going.
I'm on a roll. I forgot to surrender these to some of my colleagues on the council. And our only underclassman, but by the times that I was told, the splits that he was running on the relays, those are not underclassman times. But as I was speaking to Aiden before the meeting began, he has a lot on his shoulder going into next year to be the leader that is needed to escalate his teammates to a new level of equality with what the guys are behind me. Whereas Aiden Baldelli, did I pronounce that right?
Do you want Aiden and his family to come up, Mr. Mann?
I do. I beg your pardon. Come on up, because then we're going to get some real good pics from that one. Okay, good. Whereas Aiden Baldelli, a rising senior at the East Brunswick High School, joined the track team in 9th grade. He also is a member of the boys' varsity basketball team. And whereas Aiden has competed in the 100, 200, and 400-yard dash, long jump, and is a member of the 4x1 and 4x4 relay teams, this past summer, the team was invited to the Outdoor Nationals presented by Nike at the University of Oregon, and he and his teammates finished with an impressive 5th place in the men's Swedish sprint relay. Whereas Aiden and the relay team have broken several records and earned many medals. At the 126th Penn Relays, they smashed their own Middlesex County time and recorded the 12th fastest time in state history, winning the International 4x100 relay race. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Brad J. Cohen, of the Township of East Brunswick and the Township Council, congratulate Aiden Boldelli on his accomplishments and wish him well on the track and in the classroom, given under my hand and the great seal of the Township of East Brunswick, this the 11th day of July in the year 2022, the Honorable Mayor Brad J. Cohen. Can we get the council and the mayor down into the rostrum area so we can get a nice big picture? Thanks, Joe.
Congratulations to all of you for your support. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to all of you. Congratulations. You know that you're a part of me. Where we going?
Anywhere, Sharon, would be great.
Need to be a little bit higher.
Very good, thanks.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. We'll take a 2-minute break so that our...
They don't want to stay for a meeting?
I don't think they want to stay.
Oh.
Take a 2-minute break so our invited guests can... Back to your seats, I'm sorry. Forgot to introduce the coach.
Oh, should he have been in the picture because of another one?
Coach Sundberg, please. Thank you, Mr. Knottenberger, for that high sign. I wanted you in the picture, too. Good to see you.
See you, Matt.
All right, all the team.
Coach Jeff Sundberg, the coach of the young men.
I'd like to thank the Town Council and Mayor Cohen for inviting these boys here tonight to be recognized as their incredible accomplishments this season. The town has rallied behind these outstanding athletes, and I know that East Brunswick is extremely proud of them. Pat DiGiacchino is the head boys track and field coach and unfortunately is away this week. Frank Malta, our athletic director, has been very supportive of our track and field program, which has enabled this team to reach these successes. The 4 young men that are being recognized tonight have been performing at a level that has amazed people from all around the state. Jaden Phillip, Chris Sorreo, Aiden Baldelli, and James Sparrow are truly a special group that have been a show to watch. I believe it is their mental fortitude and preparation that has set them apart from all the other athletes around the state. Aiden Baldelli and James Sparrow would be the best track athletes on the vast majority of teams around the state. But on this team, there was even more pressure on them to perform with the two of the best athletes in the state. These two were the glue of the 4x1 and the 4x2, and even when Chris or Jaden were not running on them due to other events, both James and Aiden were outstanding. James always set the stage with his unshakable confidence, leading off while consistently putting the team out front. Aiden has a sensational ability to time handoffs and run the curve, often building an insurmountable lead going into the final leg of the relay. Jaden and Chris obviously stood out every time they had the baton or during their individual races. They both prepared in season and out of season as if they were professional athletes. As coaches, we always emphasize preparation. And Abe Lincoln famously once said, "If you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first 4 sharpening my axe." Jaden and Chris have spent an unprecedented amount of time sharpening their axe. Jaden approached every rep in practice as if it was his last. Chris was seen every day at the track during the pandemic, mastering his craft and hurdling, while many other athletes around the state fell out of shape. These two guys also faced adversity. Jaden had some frustrating races that would have cast doubt and shaken confidence in most athletes. But when it mattered the most, Jaden was at his best, knowing that no one had prepared harder than he had. Chris had battled through many back and hip injuries, leaving his spring season in doubt. But despite missing many workouts in order to heal, Chris rose above it all and was among the best in the country in both hurdle events. Chris and Jaden also had a friendly competitive rivalry, which helped them both perform at their highest potential, leading to team records that are unlikely to be broken. I know I speak on behalf of the town, the school system, and the coaches. The four of you and the rest of the boys' team have earned every accolade you've received, and you've represented East Brunswick with pride. We will share these memories forever and are all looking forward to your bright futures.
Thanks, Jeff. Mr. Knoppenberger, did you want to say a few words up here?
Congratulations,
I tried. And like I said, we'll take a 2-minute recess so that you can scoot. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Go listen to Acoustic Monday.
We're back in session. We now have a presentation regarding the East Brunswick municipal budget. We welcome Mr. John Farina from the Whisk Company, LLC, who has completed the audit. Mr. Farina, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. We just want to do a brief presentation on the 2021 audit of East Brunswick Township. First, I want to start by thanking Angel, Sylvia, and the entire finance office staff. An audit is a huge undertaking. Just to give you an idea, we started our field work early in March, and we just finished up the audit as of June 30th. So it's a lot of back and forth. We request a ton of information from the township, and we can't really get it done efficiently without good cooperation from the auditee. So really kudos to the finance staff for helping us get that done. This year, it was good. We were able to come back out to the township more after a bit of a hiatus. We were able to come out here, do more in person and then virtually this year, so that was good. Very good news again this year. The township received an unmodified opinion on the audit, which is the highest level of opinion that could be attained during an audit. What we do is we come in, we test internal controls over the reporting and over all the different areas of transactions, and had no major findings this year. We had one finding that you have in your report, but it was very minor and nothing that can't be corrected very easily. Also this year, we had to perform a state single audit, which means that due to the level of spending of state grants, we had to audit one program specifically and very detailed, and that program had no exceptions either, based on our procedures. Overall, again, it was a good audit. Nothing really to report about, so I'll open it up to any questions if you guys have anything.
Do we have any questions from the council for Mr. Farina? Thank you for the presentation, Mr.
Okay.
Farina.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We do not have an agenda session this evening. I bring before the council ordinance 22-16 for a second reading and public hearing. This is ordinance 22-16, the bond ordinance providing a supplemental appropriation of 3.3 mil for various water utility improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $3.3 million bonds or notes of the township to finance the cost thereof. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Sullivan,
Second.
second. Behal. Is there any discussion from the public on this issue? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Is there any comments from the council regarding this ordinance? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council Vice President McAvoy.
Yes.
Thank you all.
We'll move over to our reports. Let's begin with Mayor Cohn.
Thank you, Council Vice President. A couple of things to report on. First of all, I want to thank everybody who was involved in the 4th of July celebration that we had this past weekend. It was a great effort on the part of Parks and Recreation to put on a really terrific program, along with our East Brunswick Police Department, which was able to, of course, ensure that the safety of the general public that was there. It's also worth noting that we believe that it is probably a record-breaking crowd, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 people that were there, and we had everybody out of the parking lots in 52 minutes. So that is phenomenal. That's usually the issue that people have, and so it really was just a wonderful program, and they all deserve credit for turning out such a great program. You just heard the audit. I think that just speaks volumes to the department, its ability to handle and manage a very large budget in an extraordinarily financially prudent way. And I give credit to Angel, to Sylvia, and to the entire department. This is also something that they do year after year after year, and that's done under our supervision as a council and as administration. And I think it points to the fact that there is a extraordinary level of financial stability and control to the way in which the town is managed, and when we all share in that credit, and it benefits ultimately at the end of the day the residents. I also wanted to mention that we just recently got approved for a bond. A portion of that bond is going to be going towards this water improvement. A portion of the bond is going towards the school's request for $15 million this year in their funding. And as most of you know, we often use the town's great credit rating, and that great credit rating is not something that the township bestows upon itself. That's bestowed upon it by rating agencies that look at things such as the rate at which people pay their taxes, our debt ratio, our future plans. These are independent individuals that value and make a determination on what our bond rating is. And that bond rating is so low, so good, that it allows for such low interest rates that the schools do a much better job using the town to go out and bond for them than for them to go out to the banks themselves. The last bond, this past bond that was approved and sold, went for 1.86%. So if anybody knows what's going on in the bond market right now, that is just phenomenal. And I think, again, it goes again to explaining and justifying how the town is being managed in an economically fiscal manner. And everybody involved deserves credit for that. Also wanted to mention, we had a couple of months ago a issue not only in East Brunswick, but statewide, with the thefts that were being involved, car thefts. That's an issue that was going on throughout the state. And one of the main reasons that that was occurring is because a lot of the gangs and a lot of the groups that are responsible for that were taking advantage of the fact that the Attorney General in the state did not allow the police to conduct car chases, and they all knew that. And so a lot of these gangs would go to different areas in the state, mostly targeting places where they could leave the community very quickly and get onto a major highway, which of course is something that you can easily do here in East Brunswick. But the Attorney General just recently met with the police unions and the PBA and the prosecutor offices, and decided to change that philosophy. And now they have, over the last month, started to reinstitute chasing of cars that are being stolen if they have the ability to do that. And they've already begun to see a significant drop in car thefts throughout the state and in East Brunswick as well. So I think that was a move that should help all of us, including the residents here who unfortunately had to deal with that influx of crime that was going on throughout the state. And then finally, before I finish, I just wanted to announce again that the VFW is going to be holding their 5K race on Sunday the 24th. There are forms you can go online and register ahead of time if you want to. That'll save you time, but you can also sign up that day. But there are usually T-shirts that are provided, and it will be as supplies last. Those who have registered ahead will be guaranteed T-shirts. Those that register that day might not. So I hope to see you all there, and don't expect me to, be the first in my age group, although as I keep racing, and others in my age group, I get like different levels. My shot at being a place finisher keeps going up just over time. So, but anyway, hope to see you there. Thank you, Council Vice President.
You're welcome, Mayor. Mr. Crisculo, our Business Administrator?
I think the mayor and the audit speaks for itself, so I have no additional comments this evening. Thank you, President.
Thank you. Our attorney, Mr. Baker?
Thank you, Council President. Just want to do a follow-up for the public and the council members on the folks from the neighborhood around 19 Candle who were out last week. Just an update on what's been going on. So we know from last week's meeting that there are court dates for the property owners next month. I also know that most of the council members, the mayor, Joe, and I have been out to the properties, and also our inspectors and health department have been out as well. And I've been in regular touch and am assisting the homeowners as well in their efforts to get those properties cleaned up. I will continue to keep you posted. The next big date will be when there are court appearances next month.
And that court appearance is that August 9th, did you say?
August 9th is one of them, and then there's a second date that Joe may remember, but I do not. It's slightly, I think it's a week later in August.
And it's on Zoom.
It is not in person, it's still virtual.
Madam Clerk, any report?
I have nothing to report.
Council members, committee reports? Seeing none?
I just have one thing.
Sure. Councilwoman Sullivan.
I just want to thank the township, especially Joe.
Unmute your mic.
Your mic.
Councilwoman.
Sorry. I just want to thank the township, especially Joe Criscola, with the garbage problems we had. I know for a fact that, I don't know if he sleeps, because I texted him at weird hours, on a Saturday and Sunday, and on July 4th weekend, and everything got picked up. And it's really, again, it's not our fault, but I would like, in the senses, I noticed today, I believe all the garbage was picked up. There was no problem. So hopefully, it is the beginning of a new week and new people coming into work. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to our,
Mr. Mack, it's not a committee report, but just a
Please.
report. Thank you. So I do also want to thank, I think I saw Mrs. Albanese walk in, so thank you for the great work that you've done in establishing a wonderful audit report. I know you sat down with me for many, many hours and went through the entire budget line by line, and clearly we do things very well here in East Brunswick. So thank you. And also the Moody's rating is outstanding, so thank you for that as well, which enables us to purchase these bonds at these great rates that the mayor just talked about. And I also want to thank Mr. Criscolo and also the Department of Engineering and Planning for keeping us very up to date and informed regarding the constituents that came to our meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago, on June 27th, with the Candle Lane and Lantern and Quaker issues going on there. You kept us informed, you allowed us to know what was going on, you have been very responsive to our questions, and I know I certainly appreciate it. We saw the pictures, but seeing it in person, certainly, you know, I wouldn't want to be living there. I wouldn't want to have to be looking at that. And we are doing everything. I counted from the emails that you sent, Mr. Criscolo, we have 15 summonses that were issued to those properties, and like you said, the court date. So I am very thankful for the constant communication that's gone back and forth between you and the council and the mayor. So thank you very much.
thank you, Councilwoman Zambicki. I'm going to open up the public portion of the meeting, and can we get the public statement read by our clerk, please?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. The public may use this opportunity to question any item listed on the consent agenda and request that such item be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on separately. Only one member of the public should approach to speak to council at a time. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker has finished with their allotted time. It should be further noted that public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond, or to ask the administration to respond. If the questions require more detailed responses, the council president or administration may ask a member of the public to make an appointment with the appropriate township official during regular business hours. The township clerk will regulate the time during the public portion of our meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before I open this up to the public, I would like to give the floor to Mayor Cohn to make a statement. Mayor?
Thank you, Council Vice President. I did want to respond to the public written. I did already write a letter regarding the issues that many of us have been facing with the garbage and recycling problems that we've had throughout the township over the last 2 or so weeks. For anybody who does want a copy of that letter, there is one at the back of the courtroom here today. You're welcome to read that. It did go out to the TAP. It went out to social media. It was on the township's website. But without going over that 2-page letter that does go into detail about what the issues are, really kind of boils down to things that should come as no surprise to most of us who have been observing what's going on in the world around us, and that is that they have a huge issue with manpower. We have people that are not showing up to work, people that leave work early, people that just decide that they're going to come in and leave whenever they want to, and unfortunately, there's nobody to replace them. So it is a manpower issue, which is not only affecting East Brunswick, which is all we really care about, but many of the surrounding towns have had to put out similar notices, such as South River, South Brunswick, and many other towns that have the same problems. But and the other big issue, of course, is the fact that you're dealing with equipment that just has a tendency to break down. And most of us know that when we want our own cars or homes or products repaired, we're dealing with problems when it comes to material and getting that in on time. So there's lots of trucks that are waiting in lots to get work done. Without going into much more detail, I did put that out. There were some residents that responded to me and wanted to give answers to some of the issues and some of the thoughts that they had brought to my attention so that everybody is aware of what the answers to some of those questions are. One was, why don't we take the work and bring it in-house and do it ourselves? That would mean hiring our own employees, and I don't know what would make anybody think that it's going to be easier for us to find employees than it would be for the refuse industry to find them. The cost of entry, trucks are about $350,000 to $400,000 each, and we would need multiple trucks in order to just service our town alone. We would then have to be responsible for their salary, health care, benefits, pensions, insurance, workers' claim counts, and since we are a self-insured town, we would be paying for all of that ourselves. So it is, and the JIF, which insures the town, would most likely increase the rate of our insurance because we would be taking on a job that has much greater risk. So while that might sound like a great idea, it would be extraordinarily costly and probably impossible to do. If we did not continue with the service that we had, the overwhelming likelihood is that we would have to go to independent refuse, which everybody would hire their own, which many towns in our area do that. If you hire your own refuse company, which is actually more profitable to many of these businesses, that's going to cost you way more money, and you will probably not get the amount of service when we're getting all of the service we're responsible for. None of the bulk pickups, probably only one day a week all year long, and that service will probably cost you a lot more money, and you would have trucks coming into communities at different days of the week because each of them have different companies and different schedules. So that's really not a viable option for the township. The overwhelming likelihood is that they will most likely in the next contract go to a single arm type of truck, which means that they will have the ability to use less employees, therefore their costs and our costs will be lower, but they have to gear up. That equipment is expensive. We would have to get new garbage receptacles. That's expensive. So all of that would translate into a much higher cost in that next contract. Many people have brought up that they were questioning or asked me about the cost of the services. So we are in the 5-year contract for Solterra, which has now been bought out by a bigger company. The last 2 cycles that we went out for bidding for these contracts, there was only one company that responded to the bid, which was the company that we're using. Evidently, most of the companies that are in this industry do not want to do municipal work. They would much prefer to be hired out privately because there's way more money to be made in that. So we don't really have a great bargaining position when the only company bidding for the work is one company. That contract goes up a little bit each year when it costs out over the 5 years, both for your solid waste pickup and for your recycling. It caps out at the end of year 5, which is the end of year 2023, at $2 million for the your pickups of your solid waste, about $1 million for your recycling, and then when the trucks go up to the landfill, they're weighed, and there's tipping fees on top of that for the amount of garbage that you're putting out at the dump. That each year varies, but the last year that we have numbers on, which of course is 21, is another 1.5, almost $1.6 million. That's just for your solid waste pickup and for your recycling. It's not counting leaves, but it does include all of your bulk pickup. That average of all of those costs together comes out to about $280 for the average taxpayer per year in terms of the cost for all of your solid waste and recycling pickup, which compared to what you would do if you went out privately is a fraction of what you would pay. It is a a major fraction of what it would be if we did it ourselves. So, and it is probably going to go up if we go into the new contract in 2024, because, like I said, they're likely to go to one-arm trucks, which is going to be factored into the cost, and the cost of recycling and garbage just goes up every year. So that's the numbers. I wanted everybody to have a sense of what that is. There is a cost differential to do your garbage once a week versus twice a week. If we stuck with the same contract and just went to twice a week all year round, that would be another $700,000 to $800,000 a year just for that added day. So that is why we stick with the once a week, other than the summer when the garbage tends to be more of a problem and people prefer to have it twice a week. So we do that from Memorial Day to Labor Day. In terms of questions about the penalties to Solterra for not abiding with the contract, people asked about that as well. There is in our contract penalty clauses if the contract is not fulfilled. You have to give formal notice that you're about to impose that penalty. It's a per-day penalty on your solid waste or on the recycling, but this, you need to keep in mind, is kind of a game of chess. If you start being difficult with the company at a time when they are having a difficult time, I believe very strongly that that will play out for us as we enter into a new contract in 2024. So I think that it's really difficult for us to justify kicking a company when they're down, and they have reasonable explanations for why it is difficult for them to meet their commitment, and we will work with them. In terms of what are we doing now, it's really what most people care about most. Our goal right now is to try to help the residents. We're adding hours to the recycling center for those individuals that do not want to leave their recycling or their solid waste at the house. On Wednesdays, it will be open till 7 p.m. That will be starting on tomorrow, right? Wednesday this week, and through the summer, by the end of the summer, August 31st. Keep in mind that the rules at the center still hold. It's for East Brunswick residents only with proper ID. Residential materials only, no construction debris. Need to follow the traffic patterns, and no landscapers or contracts or tree services. These are people that should be paying for their, this is for our residents, not for contractors or people running landscaping businesses. And then we are working with the county workforce development to try to help the company find people, and we are working with staffing agencies who specialize in refuse industry to see if we can help the company find the type of staff that they need to try to meet their and our demands. So I hope that kind of solves and answers most of the questions that I've had sent my way, and many of you may have heard from members of the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cohen, for that comprehensive summary. And let's open the public. So anyone wishing to speak, please. Name, address, and spelling
My name
of
is
them.
Wayne Lyons. I live at 188 Milltown Road. That's in East Brunswick, by the way, not Milltown. I'm here on behalf of the East Brunswick VFW tonight, and I appreciate your support there. I just want to tell you that the race is being held this year, Sunday again, July 24th. It's at the Art Center. We start at the Art Center. We go through the race is done through the Township's 5K pack. So not only is it a run, but it is a walk. So if anyone wants to come out and enjoy themselves with someone else, walk the race, it's 3.1 miles. I would like to thank our donators. We have some great people that are helping us. The East Brunswick Educational Society is helping us. Mayor Cohen's charities.
Charity fund.
Charity fund? Okay. Did I tell you Chris was my grandson? I didn't tell you that? No. He's one of three, but he's good. That's one. He's number two. After the race, we have refreshments. And we have some music this year, so it normally wraps up by about 12 o'clock. So if you want to do something on a Sunday morning, come on out and enjoy it. All right?
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you. Lee's not here?
Please.
Okay.
Thank you. Please.
Good evening. Michael Marico, 14 Bennett Court, East Brunswick. Maybe someone here could help me with the post office. We have cluster boxes in Timber Hollow. They're not the association's boxes, they're the boxes for the post office. For the last 8 years, I've been complaining to them that my cluster box, the bottom's falling out, all of my mail gets wet. Talk to the postmaster. We'll look into it. The next cluster box, my brother's my next door neighbor, that's his cluster box. He has to put a garbage bag over his mailbox because the whole top is rotted out. 2 years ago, the postmaster said the only way they're going to get replaced is if they fall over. That's what he told me. So, does anybody here get wet mail? I doubt it. We do. We have garbage bags over the cluster boxes. So our mail, we can get our mail. Nothing's been getting done. 10 years already. 10 years. It's not the association's boxes. The postmaster admitted, yes, it's their problem, but they will not replace them unless they fall over. That's a shame. That really is. So if someone here could do something about it, so I get dry mail, please. That's 14 Bennett Court, the first 2 cluster boxes. They're awful. They're rotted out. They're 40 years old. And he will not do anything about it.
We will take that under advisement and look into the matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Please.
My name's Harold Hayden. I live at 37 Bennett Court. I moved there 16 years ago. I grew up in California. I came to New Jersey to make a good life. I've worked very hard. I made a decision to live in this town because I love this town. It's got great schools, great fire, great police, all the things you want. Only problem is the people in Timber Hollow community are being treated like second-class citizens by this township. You have not paved our roads since the buildings were built. 37 years ago, 1985? I know this because the lady who lives next door to me is an original owner, and she says that the Bennett Court has never been repaved, not one time in 37 years. I worked really hard. I was poor as hell growing up. My father died and left my mother with 5 children. I was on welfare my whole life. I came to live in this town. I chose you. This town, because it's safe, it's beautiful, and it's got a lot of things going for it. Unfortunately, I really feel like I've been treated like a second-class citizen again, just like they did when I was on welfare. It's not that hard to repave a road. I noticed you repaved the road out here nice, and it didn't even need repaving. I'd like for one of you to go down Cranberry Road, and I challenge you to go down, Evergreen Boulevard. I challenge you not to hit a pothole. I challenge it. I'll give you $100. You can drive down that street and not hit a pothole or a repair that's done poorly. They fixed the curbs. None of them are any good. They already got busted up by the plows over the winter because they used cheap concrete. I just wish that we could maybe come to some sort of thing. I don't know how to get it done, but I'd certainly like to see my roads repaved because quite frankly, if you look at my roads, if you went there and drove through them, you'd be disgusted too. Instead of repairing them 15 years ago when they should have, they put tar on all the cracks. So that makes us look cheap, and we're not. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public, please?
Hi, Jessica Laurier, 4 Lantern. I just wanted to thank you guys so much about addressing these two places on Candle and on Quaker. Unfortunately, I am on 2 sides where I'm connected to 19 Candle. At the back end, their abandoned tennis court is next to me. Just wanted to bring up one thing to interject in the conversation is chronic poison ivy. I've had it. My son's here, little guy over there. He has it right now. We constantly have it for the past 2 years, and I get calls from camp, take him home, he can't go in the pool. I need a doctor's note to go back to camp. I could send you a million pictures like this. These are the worst examples of it, but this is directly because of 6 Lantern. It's just coming through the fence on both sides. Another neighbor, he spoke last week. He's next to what my kids call the spooky house, the blue one that's rotting. He got it so bad he had to go to the hospital, like all up his arm. So I know we're talking about a lot of things with regards to these properties, but I just wanted to bring the poison ivy to the forefront of the convo. Thank you again so much for this. I see that things are starting to happen, so I'm feeling a little bit hopeful, but I just want to keep the pressure on because this is not a way of life. I can tell you the poison ivy thing is really a result also of the stray cat issue. I've been here talking about the cats as well, and all my cat situations started because there's colonies back there. I've had a lot of cats TNR'd. I took in a bunch of cats from these properties. I had bottle-fed kittens. I had a whole situation with this property, but the cats are also bringing poison ivy home to us. So it's not something that I can live with my kids. I feel like this is a health issue now, so hopefully we can put this into the conversation as well.
Council President?
Please.
If you wouldn't mind. Last week, we had a whole gaggle of people out there, as you probably know. You've probably seen cars. Mosquito Commission was there, treating some areas, getting rid of standing pools of water. Believe it or not, Mosquito Commission in New Jersey is a pretty powerful organization, but the Health Department did write them a second violation on the poison ivy, specifically from the Middlesex County Health Department, and realized that the township contracts to the county for health department services, and that was another one that was added to the list of violations that they already have outstanding from our property maintenance team.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Anyone else in the public? Sir?
Hi, Council. Thomas Ingrasani, 58 Deerfield Road. Mr. Mayor, this is for you. I remember about 10 years ago, you had twice a week garbage pickup. And I think it came out like 50 cents a week to have the second pickup. You gave a price how much it costs now per year per homeowner. How much would it cost for a second week per year for two pickups a week? I think it'll ease up the truck being overweighted, and, you know, twice a week might help the situation where the trucks won't break down as much. I mean, 1 week, it's a lot of weight to pick up. Twice a week, it's half of that. And I know it was 50 cents a week to do a second pickup a few years ago, and they turned it down. So if it's possible to...
Well, first of all, we're having a problem right now, and it's twice a week right now.
Yeah, right, no, I know that, it's twice a week right now, but it's
Right.
all year round, I'm saying.
Right, that's another $800,000 on the contract for the year.
How much would that come out per homeowner?
I don't know the exact number per homeowner, but it would be almost 4 tax points,
Right, 4
which
tax,
comes out to
3.7.
what?
400.
Probably a little over $100 a person per year for that difference.
$100 a person, $100 a month per year?
Household.
Per household.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Per household.
For the year, so it's $100 divided, so it's like, you're talking not much. You know what I'm saying? You're talking maybe $100 a week. It's $20 every, divided by 12, right? Okay. Divided by 50. Comes out to what? $20 a, it's not that much to have the second pickup. Correct? It's only $100 a homeowner.
If those numbers are correct, Mr. Rossano.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get at
Right.
that point, because you go buy a garbage bill, it's $35 today. And not only counting, but I have where raccoons eat my garbage pails, squirrels, you have to buy 2, it's free. I mean, that might help the situation too. It's just a thought,
Right.
all right? Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? I will close the public portion. Councilwoman Zambicki, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
That was,
We're good?
we're good.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda, Resolution 1745-0 through 1746-2. Are there any resolutions that need to be removed?
Can I request 17459?
Yes?
Thank you.
Okay. I'll need a motion on the following. Resolution 17450, authorizing Middlesex County Fair Association to hold its annual Middlesex County Fair in Middlesex County Fairgrounds from August 1st, 2022 through August 7th. Resolution 17451, resolution authorizing Middlesex County Fair Association to hold a fireworks display at the Middlesex County Fair on August 1st and August 7th, 2022. Resolution 17452, resolution authorizing the tax collector to refund tax utility overpayments. Resolution 17453, authorizing the refund of hydrant permits. Resolution 17454, resolution authorizing refunds to be issued to tax lien redemptions. Resolution 7455, resolution establishing a lien on properties in accordance with the Property Maintenance Code. Resolution 17456, authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage license in the Township of East Brunswick for 2022-2023 fiscal year. Resolution 17457, certifying receipt and review of annual audit report for the year 2021. Resolution 1758, resolution authorizing the mayor and township clerk to sign a memorandum of agreement with the East Brunswick School Crossing Guard Association for the period of 2022 through 2025. Resolution 1746, resolution authorizing the appointment of Special Law Enforcement Officer Carla LaRocca to the East Brunswick Police Department, to the East Brunswick Department of Public Safety. Resolution 1746-1, amending the 2022 fee schedule and the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Services, and Resolution 1746-2, resolution to adopt the bill list. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
from Councilwoman Sullivan, second by Councilman Behal. Is there any conversation on that list of resolutions? Okay.
The
We do
mayor
a,
has something. The mayor does.
Mayor Cohn.
Just wanted to add that, and you recognize that in resolution. I'm sorry, turn around. 17461, that correction to the Parks and Recreation actually cures the only problem that we had in the audit for 2021.
Good.
Just had to adopt fees, that's all.
Good. So do we vote on those and then come back to? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council Vice President McAvoy?
Yes. Resolution 1745-9, resolution approving the submission of a grant application for 2023 fiscal year municipal aid program and authorizing the mayor and township clerk to execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for Tice's Lane, for the Tice's Lane overlay phase. Phase 1 and Phase 4 project, and the New Brunswick Avenue Road improvement. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second. Councilwoman Sullivan and Councilman Behal. Discussion?
So I was just curious in getting some more information, because I think it's important that everybody understands what this grant is for.
So each year, we apply to the Department of Transportation for Transportation Trust Funds. Many folks recognize and remember a couple of years ago when Governor Christie added a gas tax to try to replenish the Transportation Trust Fund, which was depleted. And that money was to be specifically used for road improvements throughout townships. We've been applying for that for the past 5-6 years. Many of the roads that we do in town are often done through these grants that would otherwise be roads that we would have to pay for through property taxes. The first time we did it was on Dunham's Corner. We've done Ruse, we've done Old Stage Road. I think Riva was last year. This year we're doing Fern. Next year is going to be Whitehall. And this is an application for a grant through the Transportation Trust Funds to do the parts of Tice's Lane that is not already committed to through the redevelopment agreements that we've entered into with the two projects that were approved through the planning board several months ago, several years ago. The one project is being built right now, as many of you recognize, on Tice's. Part of that deal was for the developer to do all the road improvements from his project, which is going to be called Legacy Place by Renee Road all the way up to Route 18. And the Hidden Oaks project is going to take that and extend it all the way through University. That's all part of the agreement with the developers in order to give them approval, and we will hold them to that. And then the remainder that would take you all the way out to Riders Lane is what we're applying for in the Tice's Lane project, so that we can hopefully get that entire road repaired completely between development money that we've gotten committed through those deals and the TTF grant through the state.
Thank you.
It's a little difficult sometimes for people to recognize or track the money, because you apply in one year, you hear about it usually the following year, and you get the money the year after. So it's often, when you apply it, it could be a year or two, before, probably 2, before, once we've gotten it approved, before we actually do the work. But we're constantly trying to stay ahead and use as much grant money for these roads and not rely on property taxes from our residents to try to cover those costs.
Any further discussion on this resolution? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council Vice President McAvoy.
Yes, and going to get a motion on our final ordinance 22-17, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick for the acquisition of the right-of-way easements and land in fee simple in Block 320, lots 501, 504, and 6 in the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, for public purpose pursuant to NJSA 20:3-1 et sec. Get a motion?
So moved.
Behal, get a second?
Second.
Zambiki. Anyone from the audience?
No public portion.
No public on this one? Thank you.
Next meeting.
Any discussion?
Can you tell us where?
I was going to explain. Absolutely,
Okay.
Councilwoman. So this is part of the Dunham's Corner Road improvements, and in order to do that and to have the bikeway, we need some of the property along what we all commonly known as the Clark Farm. So staff has met with the Clarks and their attorney last week. I've been in touch with them, and they've acknowledged their willingness to work with the town for the town to acquire those easements. But before we can do that and get an appraisal and do all the steps we need, the council needs to adopt the ordinance.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council Vice President McAvoy?
Yes.
Thank you all.
For the good of the cause. Please.
Next Monday night, I believe I'm just going to check my calendar, I believe it's July 19th. St. Joe's has a walkathon that's going to benefit, not McFoods, Replenish, which is the old McFoods. And if anyone wants to bring out their families to walk at 4:30, you get a T-shirt, and you get to walk and enjoy the weather, and it's $10 a person, and all proceeds go to Replenish. And of course, we'll all be walking on the 24th for the VFW, or running. Or standing there with the T-shirt, I'm not kidding. And that's it. And that's it for tonight. And the
Yeah, I have something. I want everyone to know that I asked for and received permission from the council to cancel our July 25th meeting. I formed a team of East Brunswick bowlers for Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin's 13th annual Bowl for Hunger. All proceeds from the bowl-a-thon will benefit the Middlesex County Foods, which is certified with the 19th District Food Banks. Local food pantries as well, and soup kitchens throughout the county. Approximately 25 social agencies. McFoods reaches a wide variety of people throughout the county that are in need, including low-income families, homeless people with disabilities or mental or physical challenges, children, and senior citizens. I should have written down the date for the next meeting, but I didn't. August 8th. August 8th. We'll see you on August 8th. Can I get a motion to close the session?
So moved.
Councilwoman Sullivan, second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Zambicki. Good night.